name is Obianu Jumoma. I'm the head of HR for Capital Bank Corp PLC. Okay, I'll go ahead with sharing my screen, my screen and my slide.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, let me see. Okay.
Okay.
Can you all view my slide? I always like confirming before.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay,
yes.
So I'm going to be very practical. Like I told Temitope, I'm going to be very practical. I'm also going to be very realistic because, you know, if you are looking for the theoretical, Google is your friend, everything is on the internet. We can always sit down and type and get information. But my purpose of, you know, this presentation is to also be realistic and to share real business problems. Temitope said something. He said, HR, we are very important now. I keep hearing people say, bringing HR to the table. And I'm like, that's then. HR is already at the table. And HR is you know, is in control of the wheel, if I may say, of the organization, steering the wheel of the organization, because we manage people, and people, they are the talents, people, they are the life of the organization. Is the people that drives the organization, drive the systems, the processes, the policies, the procedures, everything that has been put in place is the people that you know, that drives it. So I hope at the end you'll be able to take home one or two, you know, important information or something that you've learned. So I'm here to talk about how to achieve talent retention with effective compensation and benefit strategy. So this is just a bit about me, my profile. I always like, you know, talking about myself before I start so that you know who is presenting. Okay, my name is Obianu. I'm married with 3 kids. When people ask me what are my achievements, I say I'm a mother, I'm a wife, career woman, loving daughter, dependable sibling, even friend, you know, devoted Christian. They've already talked about my, you know, talked a little bit about my profile. I love meeting people. I love interacting with people. You know, I love going on walks. I love reading, watching biographies because I get the opportunity to learn from people. So let's start. Employee retention. What's employee retention? Of course, it's the ability of an organization to prevent employee turnover. The ability of an organization to retain their staff, not even just their staff, the right people. Because you may have in an organization people that are not, they don't fit the culture of that organization. HR shouldn't be working towards retaining such people. You have people that are toxic to the organization. HR shouldn't work towards retaining those people. They should work towards retaining the right people at the right time for that organization. And of course, we can see what is happening now. We have the Japa syndrome, whereby people are leaving. You have key people leaving, key staff leaving organizations. And as they leave, there's a gap in that organization. And those gaps, if we are being realistic, they create business problems. So the job of HR now is to retain key staff. Reduce your turnover, you know, and how can you do this? You know, by fostering a positive work environment, promoting employee engagement, rewarding your staff, recognizing them, appreciating them, providing a competitive pay. And when I say pay and benefits, yes, competitive pay and benefit, what the organization can afford. Because if the you know, these are the things that can encourage and ensure that employee retention, you know, is achieved. And this is very important because, like I've said earlier, it causes disruption within the business when people leave, especially key people. You know, when you have a group CFO just, you know, dropping his resignation that has been in a company for years, and he keeps a performer, you have a top performer in the marketing unit, or even have your head of HR, you know, key people, not even necessarily people at the top. You have people below them, but are performers, and these are people that have potentials. And you find out that these people have dropped their resignation and they are leaving. That's already a gap in your business. And if strategies and things are not already in place to address that gap, then you have your business has a problem. So to reduce employee turnover, and of course, when such happens, it's costly to replace. We're not even talking about the recruitment cost. That's one. Even the replacement cost, because there are different, onboarding exercises, medicals, police capturing, a lot of things that needs to be done that cost money. So the company has to incur that cost. And then you even find out, let's be realistic, you find out that a key staff that have left, that maybe earning, this is just a scenario, earning 200,000. And then HR people that are into recruitment, you can bear me witness. Now, it may even take you a while to get the right person to fill that role. And when you get that person is not ready to take the salary that the person that left was earning. The person is asking you higher. That's additional cost to the company. And the person may not even have as much experience, legacy information about the organization. So it's already a problem. It's cost to the company. And a lot of times, or sometimes, it has this impact, which can be negative. You have a salesperson that's left, that leaves the company. I mean, he's leaving, he's carrying his, his key accounts to the next place. Accounts that he brought in, clients that he brought in, he's taking them to the next place. That's a negative impact on the company because the company is losing revenue. And of course, let's also be honest, it can have negative impact among staff. I heard this person is leaving, what's going on? This one is, okay, let me start looking for my own, how I also leave. Let's be realistic. So HR needs to ensure, come up with ways that are cost effective for the organization, not one size fits all, that suits, the culture, the nature of that organization. Come up with retention strategies to keep their key employees, their talent. Sorry. And of course, sometimes too, work overload. When someone leaves, you have to, reassign certain deliverables that person was working on to the next team members. All these things are already having impact, which, if not managed, can negatively impact that organization and cause issues. Trying to change, okay. Okay, so I want to talk about the different employee retention strategies that we have. This compensation and benefit is just one strategy of the whole lot. So I'll just quickly browse through because I'm also working with time and I would like to give enough time for questions, comments, concerns, and the rest. So this was just for, sorry, pardon my presentation style. I love working with pictures. So I do more talking. So as you're admiring the pictures or you're looking at the pictures, trying to figure out what all these things are, just listen to me, you will understand. So this first picture where you can see my cursor key, that has to do with to offer competitive salary. So HR has to be on top of its game and in ensuring that the organization is offering competitive salary, especially within that industry or within the sector. So for example, if an organization is in entertainment and hospitality, maybe cinemas, and you're offering whatever competitive salary you're offering, you have to do your own market survey of other similar organizations operating within that industry. And ensure that your salary is competitive enough to retain your key staff. So let's be realistic. You are not in entertainment and then you are doing survey for oil and gas. There's no correlation. Are you making that money that the oil and gas they are making? So whatever salary that you are offering should be competitive enough, I'm emphasizing that your key industry. And if you can go above, why not, to retain your key staff? So this is one of the strategies. We have another strategy now, which has to do with work from home. I can tell you that, you know, before COVID, of course, everybody in the office, 8 to 5, 9 to 5, you must be in the office, meetings held physically. But, you know, during the COVID, post-COVID, the narrative have changed. And organizations are realizing now that their staff can work from home and still be very productive. You just have to ensure that remote work policies are in place and implement them to ensure that, you know, people are productive. Like now, I'm taking this presentation from the comfort of my home. Today in my office, we are working remotely. So these are things now that employees are interested in. You are doing interviews, people are asking you, okay, I want to know what your work schedule is like. Do you people do remote work here? People are asking that question now. Do you people do you schedule you know, the routines, as in how people come to the office? Must I be in the office physically every day? Looking at the stress, you know, the traffic, everything. So these are questions people are asking now. You have the Gen Zs now. They are interested in, those are the things they are asking now. And most time when you tell them, no, my company doesn't do that, they'll say, okay. But let's also be mindful that the nature of a business determines if this remote work will be implemented. So it may not work in all organizations. Then we have the flexible schedule, like I've said earlier. People are interested in that. Okay, even though in a week I have to come, do I have to come to work? Okay, even though, okay, maybe I work physically in the office Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, do I have to, must it be that Monday, Wednesday? What's the timing? You know, these are questions people are asking now. Because now I was saying after, was it last week, I was talking to some of my colleagues, and I was telling my senior colleagues in HR, I was telling them that before it was the employer was king. Now is the employees. Now let's just be truthful. Now is the employees, because with this people with the Japa syndrome, people, you know, there's a gap. So now supply is not as it was. Demand is now more. So the people that can give the supply now, they are now kings. So they're asking all these questions now. Employee engagement is very important in an organization. How engaged are your employees? How do you engage them? Not just about, are they passionate? Are they passionate about that job? Does management communicate to them? Are they carried along, even in, you know, within their units? Are they carried along? Can you say that they are passionate about what they are doing, that they are ready to go the extra mile for their organization? How engaged are your employees? This is one of the employee retention strategy. Another is recognition and reward. Do you reward your people that have performed exceptionally well, that have done well? You reward them. It can be in cash, it can be, you know, this award, how do they call it again? Like in my company, we do this award, staff award. First half, second
of
half.
recognition.
Yes, award recognition. So, you know, recognition, you know, give them a letter of commendation, commending them for work that have done well. These are ways you can retain. I sat on a panel for an interview, and a potential candidate asked, do you people do reward and recognition? He said, because I'm very keen on that. So these are ways strategies you can use in retaining your people. Work-life balance. I was in a company that I was the head of HR, but I didn't stay there for so long. I had to leave. Not that I was enjoying the work, but I realized that my family was suffering. I have 3 very young children, and I realized I'm leaving for the office. My children are sleeping. I'm coming home. My children are sleeping. Sometimes weekend. I'm like, no, June. No. You can't continue like this. In as much as I loved the job, I just had to. And when I met my boss, then we're like, why are you going? I had to, you know, tell him certain things. So work-life balance, collaboration, teamwork within the units, across different units, you know, teamwork, communicating effectively, trust. Do you trust your team members? Do you trust them to deliver the job? You know, All these things may seem minute, but believe you me, they go a long way in retaining your employees. Employee burnout. Employee burnout, not necessarily only work overload. Yes, that's one of it. But you have another thing like so a kind of toxic work environment. It can lead to employee burnout. You know, is there effective communication between the unit head and the team members? Is there bullying, harassment within the company? All these things can lead to employee burnout. Then well-being. People are very interested now. How health conscious is your company? What are the health? Do you have health insurance in place? You know, group life. Is the company conducive enough for me to work? You know, is it? Some people even ask you, does the company have a gym? These are questions people are asking during interviews. Okay, do you people pay subscription at health clubs? So all these things are, you know, but I'm not saying all companies must incorporate all these things. No, do what fits your company and what you can afford, because what you cannot afford, you can't do. And that's just the truth. What's your workplace culture like? Is it a toxic environment? If it's toxic, then HR, you have work to do in making it non-toxic through communication, through trainings, you know, through mentorship, you know, talking to people, you know. We are at the forefront. What's your workplace culture like? Employee benefits and perks. You know, I've talked about salary, that's one. Then we now have employee benefits, vacations, medicals, you know, there are some this membership club, they tell you club, this club, when you get to a certain level, all these things are perks. So what can your company afford to do? There are so many options. You know, a data allowance. Okay, if you're in this thing, give a monthly data allowance of 5,000. It will shock you. There are staff that are looking forward to that thing. When you don't pay them, they're already asking, where's my data allowance? So you know, these are strategies, continuous, you know, professional development, personal development. Then even from the start, to ensure that even from the start of the interview, are you getting the right hire for your culture, for your company? We did an interview one time for a senior role, and my company, one of our core values is integrity. We don't joke with integrity. And we found out by the time we were already at the edge of giving the person an offer, but by the time we did the investigation, we dug further, we found out that some lies were told, some false documents were presented. So no, we can't take this person because one of our core values is integrity. Then people management, how do you manage everything? You know, to manage all the strategies on his own self is even a strategy. Then exit. It's also, and let me explain this employee retention strategy, ex-staff exit. How do you celebrate your key people when they are even leaving? It's, you know, it passes across a message. Okay, there's some company, okay, at the point of exit, if you've done 5 years, you're entitled to gratuity, your terminal benefits. By labor law, it's not mandatory. It's based on management discretion of that company. So you see certain this thing, they are paying that. Okay, at the point after you've done 5 years with the company, we are paying you this. And when you're even going, you know, they do a mini send forth party for you. You know, people are watching, I'm like, this place is good though. Okay, let me even stay till that 5 years. I must stay and get that my retention, that my terminal benefit. I must stay and, you know, this company must celebrate me and do this send forth. It looks little, but these are retention strategies. So how do you even celebrate the good people that are leaving, that have done well for the company? So these are all retention strategies. So you do what fits your company. Implement what suits your company. Like I said, not all these things, all sizes fits one. No. So do what suits your company, what fits your company, the nature of your business, you know, the culture and everything, the people. So you do what suits your company and what is cost effective. so that there's a win-win at the end. Okay, so I'm pulling out one, which is the compensation and benefit strategy. What's the compensation? Compensation strategy is how your organization approaches pay and benefits. Of course, you know, the different, you know, there are levels. To each level, you have salary band. On this particular level, there's band 1, band 2, band 3. You know, it depends. Nothing is cast in stone. It depends on that organization. You know, determine how you do salary raise, salary reviews. You know, how you do promotions. All these things are compensation and benefit strategy. How do you do it? How do you pay bonus? What are the criteria for paying performance bonus? How is it calculated? You know, what benefits can the company afford to offer to its employees? Is it sustainable? If it's not sustainable, then don't start what you can't finish, because if you start it and you're about to stop it for just without, you know, communicating properly to staff, you have already even created a problem. So whatever benefit or whatever compensation or whatever this in the company was to implement, HR, finance, it needs to ensure that such thing is sustainable. And that's where analysis and a couple of things comes into play. And HR, I've seen HR a couple of times, we shy away from numbers. You have to know your numbers. You have to understand the nature, the business of what the business that your organization does. You have to understand the business. You can't shy away from that. If HR wants to come to the table, those are for the HRs that are not yet at the table. If HR wants to come to the table, play at the table, and be a key decision maker at that table, you need to understand your business. You need to understand business analysis. You need to up your game in terms of your presentation skills. You need to read wide. You need to interact. You can't, I'm HR, okay, that one has to do with I don't know anything about market. No, I'm in this unit, I don't know, just go and meet them. You are the forefront. You need to understand the business. You may not understand it in depth, but at least understand, you know, fundamental things about the business, so that when you're making your recommendations, when you're, you know, giving your justifications, you know what you are saying. And then even see HRs that shy away from going to the board. Yes, I know a couple of HR people, they shy away from going to the board because, you know, to go to the board is not beans. You need to know your own. You need to, what I'm saying all these things is, if you can't market something to somebody, how do you get the buying of those people? So if you can't, for example, now you need to promote certain people, especially certain key levels, and those key level, this thing, approval can only be given by the board. How do you talk to the board? Fine, yes, you have your policies that when it gets to this place, this thing needs to be done, this thing, yes, your policies are there. But the board will have a mind of their own. And if they tell you, look, the business is not really doing well, or this, why do we need to promote these people? You are the one that will go there and talk to them. You have to, you know, get your analysis, your recommendation, everything needs to be in place. When you're talking to them, you are getting their buy-in and getting their approval, and you're implementing things. And at the end, people are happy, people are doing their job. And at the end of everything, the objective of the overall goals and objectives are being achieved. So strategic compensation helps organizations attract top talents, retain top talents, and maintain a competitive advantage. It helps to ensure pay equity and allows companies to be more transparent. So you have certain people in the organization, you're already asking, okay, from this level, what's the next level? How long do I need to be on this level before I'm promoted to the next level? What does your policy say? How does your company reward people? Are they rewarding people? For example, in my company, we are performance driven. Oh no, if you come to Park Capital Bangkok, you have to perform. It's in the culture, performance driven. So you see certain this is some loyalty, you know, some tenure, how long that person have been in that organization. So they are talking to business leaders, and you are getting feedback like, I don't mind having someone in my organization that stays 2 years or 3 years or even 1 year, but that person have come and has made a serious positive impact, than having someone that has been in my company 5 years, 10 years, and it's nothing to show for it. We are hearing this kind of talks. So how do you reward your performance? All these things are under your compensation and benefit strategy. What's your performance management system like? Because it's all these things at the end that should determine who is rewarded. So, and at the end, when things are going smoothly, like I said earlier, you avoid high costs associated with turnover. Whatever compensation and benefit strategy in place must comply with the state law and the federal regulations. So you have companies that their accounts are being audited. You have external auditors that audit the account. You have people from Lagos State or whatever state that you are operating in, your business is operating. They come and they audit the accounts, the books of the company. So these are things. Okay, why are you paying this person this amount? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing those? Sometimes these questions that are being directed to the CFO, but sometimes they would even drag in the head of HR. Okay, come on, what are your documents? Why? So what I'm saying this is that whatever it is that we are implementing, legal compliance must be ensured. We have different types of compensation. Yes, you have commissions. You have people that are coming in, marketers, they're asking you, or even people within, they're asking, okay, they're interested in, okay, yes, fine, I have my base pay, what of commission? And within, so this commission thing, it depends. Like I've said earlier, all these strategies, you pick what suits your organization, and you implement there. A plus A may not be A in this organization. It may be B plus C is equals to A in another organization. So whatever it is that you're implementing should suit what you have on ground. Then, of course, I've talked about overtime pay. There are certain places, industries that this plays a key role. When you're looking at the entertainment, sector, we are looking at health. So it depends. If this overtime pay, if that is what is applicable, you implement it, and what is cost effective. So, bonuses, I've already talked about profit sharing. How do you share profits? Do you share profit, and at the end, people are disgruntled that this person is being awarded this and me, I'm not. What do you have in place what systems do you have in place to address all those things? Stock options, certain organizations that have these options, stock options. So you see some people say, okay, I want, instead of paying me this, let you go into the stocks of the company. Travel, meal, housing allowances, all these things are compensation. You have types of benefits too. I've talked about this earlier. Insurance, group life, medicals, leave. Do you go on leave? Do you pay leave allowance? Whatever it is that the company can afford to do, gratuity. I've already talked about that. Places you have retirement, benefits. You have birth and death benefits. You have marriage benefits. It depends on the organization. Professional development and continued education. That's where training and development also comes in. Having issues changing. Okay, so at this picture, I'll just use this and just take us through and explain the compensation and benefit strategy. So if you already have one, as I'm talking, you can also just do a mental check on what you currently have on ground. If there's a need for review, if what you are doing works for you perfectly, no problem. That's very good to know. So whenever you are defining your compensation, philosophy, of course, it has to align with the vision and mission statement of your company. It has to align with the objectives of your company. It has to align. if it doesn't align at the end, there may be a mismatch. So when you're coming up with that strategy, what's the thinking behind implementing this strategy? Look within, look at your culture, look at, look at the objectives, look within, and all those things will drive the philosophy or the thought process of that strategy that is being in place, or if the strategy needs to be tweaked. All these things will drive it. Do your industry and market research. It's a continuous thing. It's not just one-off, because as the business environment is evolving, things are changing. So we are looking at look at now with this fuel subsidy. Fuel has gone up from 100 to 488, 500, or even more, depending on your state where your company is being located. Standard of living has gone up. Once fuel goes up, let's be realistic, even down to Gary, it affects the price of Gary in the market. So I'm very sure now that HR people are already thinking forward, okay, how do we address this situation? Because believe you me, a time will come that people will come crying to your table. My salary can't take me home. It's not really as attractive as it used to be before, because prices of things have gone up. So you have to understand, okay, what are other people doing? Okay, we can't afford to increase salary. Okay, can we put a kind of PEC, fuel allowance? Okay, every month we give you this. You do your research within your industry. What are your competitors doing? Because if you don't do your research, if you don't get back to the table and to the drawing board and start thinking forward, you are going to lose those people to the competitors that have done the needful. You will lose them. They will move. They will port. The way people were porting from MTN that time to other this thing, they will port. But I know MTN has, MTN. I've been using MTN for a very long time.